Good evening, everybody. And on behalf of VATA, I wanted to warmly welcome all of you. A very, very warm welcome to all the community leaders, the tech innovators, and the heads of Indian organizations who represent the vibrant diversity of our Indian diaspora here in Seattle. This is Incredible Indians with Honorable Justice Surya and it's going to be a wonderful evening. My name is Sonia Keshwani and it's an honor hosting this on behalf of VATA. A little bit about VATA, the Washington Telangana Association. VATA is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to preserving the Telangana culture, empowering communities and building strong connections between India and the United States. Founded in 2013 by Vamshi Reddy Kancharakuntla, VATA has grown from a small garage initiative into a vibrant community of over 15,000 members. Through cultural celebrations like the Batukamma, Teen Mar, and Women's Day, VATA keeps traditions alive while creating space for youth and families to connect. VATA's mission is powered by service. Some of their key initiatives include monthly food drives and Adopt a Road program in Washington State, Adopt a Village efforts that support schools and villages in Telangana, and Incredible Indians honoring inspiring Indian origin leaders such as the one we have with us today, and community development and emergency support services. VATA also stepped up during the pandemic and with vaccination clinics in the United States and oxygen support back in India. And with the help of their dedicated volunteers, VATA continues to serve as a beacon of culture, of unity, and of compassion. So please put your hands together to start with for VATA, which is the Washington Telangana Association. And as we speak about VATA, we obviously have to speak about the founder of VATA. So next up, I'd like to introduce Mr. Vamshi Reddy Kancharakuntla, who's the founder of VATA. He's a passionate community leader and a visionary philanthropist. He's made history as the youngest president of TTA and played a key role in uniting Indian communities across the country. Alongside being a successful entrepreneur, he continues to inspire others with his energy and his commitment to service. Vamshi, we would love to have you come here and speak just a few words. Let's give it up to the founder of VATA, Mr. Vamshi Reddy.
Thank you, Sonia. First of all, Suryakanji, it's an honor to sit next to you and then be in the hall. And we're very privileged to have you in Seattle. And I would like to thank Suresh Sharmaji for giving us this opportunity. This room represents the community leaders who represent at least 20 to 35 non-profit organizations. These are proven themselves and then they're trying to work hard to give back to the local community and back home. And then there are some kids also here who are trying to pursue the justice or public policy making leaders. So we requested them to come here to get inspired by you. But all community leaders, thank you very much for coming. We are so honored to have you all here. And Suryakanji is here. We are lucky to have him. And then he's going to be soon announced as the Chief Justice of India. See how lucky we are. So we always hear about the Chief Justice of Supreme Court, but we never get an opportunity to look at him or stand next to him or sit next to him and take a picture. So today is that great day. So thank you everyone for coming. Suryakanji, it's an honor to have you here. We are welcoming you warmly to Seattle. Thank you. And then the weather is also welcoming you as well.
Thank you. You've brought the beautiful sun from our motherland. Next up, I'd like to introduce VATA's president. So VATA President Sandeep Kumar Bhushanam and the VATA Executive Committee, they form the backbone of the organization's success across Washington State. This dynamic team works hand in hand with the board members to provide strategic direction, guide important decisions, and manage key areas like the finances, the fundraising and organizational policies. Their leadership, dedication, and their teamwork ensure that VATA continues to grow, serve, and inspire the community every step of the way. So let's hear it for VATA President and the VATA Executive Committee. And last but not the least, we have with us our counsel, Mr. Suresh Sharma.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming here tonight. And first of all, it's a great honor, sir, to host you here. It's a privilege. And thanks to all the community members, our business leaders, tech leaders for coming here tonight. And I hope you all enjoy this evening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Keshav.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, from the Consulate General of India, we have our counsel, Mr. Suresh Sharma, who with over 20 years of service in the Indian diplomatic missions around the world, Mr. Suresh Sharma brings deep experience in the cultural diplomacy and international relations. A physics postgraduate, he has held key roles in countries like the UAE, USA, Mexico, France, and more, managing consular services, leading protocol during major events like the G20 summit, and promoting India's image through cultural festivals like Namaste France and global initiatives like the International Day of Yoga. We would like to give you a very, very warm welcome, Mr. Suresh Sharma from the Consulate General of India. And last but not the least, as we gather to honor the spirit of incredible Indians, we are truly privileged to welcome Honorable Justice Surya Kanji, a towering figure in India's judiciary and a symbol of unwavering commitment to justice, equity, and democratic values. He's currently serving as the judge of the Supreme Court of India and executive chairman of the National Legal Services Authority. Justice Surya Kanji has dedicated his life to upholding the rule of the law and expanding access to justice for all. His journey from a humble village in Haryana to the highest echelons of India's legal system is a testament to the power of his perseverance, intellect, and service. A former Chief Justice of the Himachal Pradesh High Court and Advocate General of Haryana, Justice Surya Kanji is widely respected for his landmark rulings on human rights, prison reform, and constitutional governance. His visionary leadership and empathetic jurisprudence have left an indelible mark on India's legal landscape. And as he prepares to assume the role of the 53rd Chief Justice of India, we are truly honored to celebrate his legacy and hear his reflections on justice, culture, and community. Values that deeply resonate with the Indian diaspora and global citizens alike. And to felicitate our chief guest, I wanted to once again invite the founder of VATA, Mr. Vamshi Reddy, our very own counsel, Mr. Suresh Sharma from the Consulate General of India, and the President of VATA, Mr. Sandeep Kumar Bhushanam. Let's give our chief guest a very, very warm welcome and a round of applause. That's Honorable Justice Surya Kanji being felicitated. Can we please all give him a standing ovation at this point? And now the moment we are all waiting for is here. I am honored to invite our keynote speaker, Honorable Justice Surya Kanji, to the stage as we celebrate a legacy rooted in justice, culture, and community, values that continue to inspire and unite us all. So let's give a round of applause to our keynote speaker for the evening, Honorable Justice Surya Kant.
Mamisi Reddy Sahab, founder president of the Washington Telangana Association, other office bearers and very distinguished members of the association, my friend Mr. Surya Sharma, Deputy Consulate General of the Indian High Commission here in Seattle, a very distinguished team of the leaders of tech business or other important events taking place in the America, my dear Indian friends representing different parts of the country. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I am really privileged to be here with you. A very good evening to all of you. Namaskaram. It's a true privilege to be here today among you, a very accomplished and a very vibrant members of the Indian community. The Indian diaspora is one of the largest and most influential in the world. I think it's a global community of over 30 million people living across continents. Yet each one of them is deeply rooted in the values and traditions of India. What began as a journey of necessity, education, or exploration have transformed into stories of leadership, innovation, and global impact. And these achievements really makes this journey remarkable, not as an individual success, but the spirit of togetherness, identity, and resilience that our communities have carried with them, no matter how far from India they are. I believe that the success of the Indian diaspora is not only measured in individual achievements, as I said, though alone is remarkable, it is also reflected in the collective identity that communities have preserved and passed on the next generations, our posterity. Whether you maintain your identity or preserve your culture through temples, cultural centers, schools, or community events, as Sonia ji was pointing out about the events of the Telangana Washington Association, the diaspora has cultivated a sense of belonging and solidarity, making the Indian identity one that thrives beyond national borders. Here I am enjoying this great Seattle from now almost 1 week. That same spirit shines very brightly. This area, known for innovation, nature, and opportunity, has become home to thousands of Indian origin families who bring with them not just technical expertise, but also deep cultural values, entrepreneurial drive, and a strong sense of community. And at the heart of this community, the Washington Telangana Association, I can now visualize, stands as a very shining example. The association, as Sonia ji has also pointed out very briefly, and I was trying to find out, has done exceptional works, not only preserving and celebrating our culture through festivals, but also by serving as a platform that brings together people of all generations, backgrounds, and professions. Through all their events, the association help us stay connected to our roots while building bridges across communities here in the United States. Additionally, I find that Greater Seattle is home to a wide range of community organizations that play a vital role in strengthening our Indian community and celebrating the richness of our entire Indian community coming from different parts of the country. Many organizations focus on uplifting rural communities, bringing music and culture, tradition to life, serve for the youth and empower our generations. Essentially, they continue to promote cultural heritage and create spaces where our community can come together, whether it is to unite for a cause or simply to celebrate our shared roots. In a world where globalization often leads to the dilution of identity, associations like the one we are sitting here ensure that our heritage is not only preserved but passed on proudly and confidently to the next generation, to the posterity. What you have built here is more than a network. It is a community, a family, and a powerful reminder that while we may be thousands of miles away from India, the heart of India, our values, our warmth, our celebration of diversity continues to thrive. I must take this opportunity to also underscore that this shared heritage is not only preserved through culture and community, but also through the enduring institutions that uphold our democratic values. While traditions keep us rooted in who we are, it is the strength of Indian constitutional framework that safeguard the principles underpinning our identity, namely justice, fairness, and inclusivity. These values are not confined to ceremonies or symbols. They are actively lived and protected through the institutions that give them meaning. Among these, the Indian judiciary stands out as a pillar that continues to reflect and reinforce the spirit of India, both within its borders and across the global Indian diaspora. The Indian judiciary plays a unifying role in sustaining the diverse and democratic character of the nation, anchoring its people at home and abroad in shared constitutional values. As the interpreter and guardian of the Constitution, the judiciary has upheld principles such as fraternity, equality, and human dignity, ensuring that the rule of law remains central to Indian democracy. Through its reasoned decisions and moral authority, the judiciary not only resolves legal conflicts but also affirms a vision of justice that binds the nation together. For the Indian communities living in a faraway country like US, this becomes a source of pride and reassurance, affirming that the values they hold dear not only protected but continuously reaffirmed within India's constitutional order. This sense of continuity is especially meaningful in the lives of non-resident Indians whose ties to India often involve not just emotional and cultural bonds, but also legal and familial responsibilities. The Indian judiciary has played a crucial role in addressing the unique challenges faced by the Indian communities living outside, ranging from property and inheritance disputes to family law matters like custody and matrimonial issues. With procedural adaptations and a growing recognition of cross-border complexities, the courts have made justice more accessible to those living abroad. In certain areas, the judiciary has also extended the protection of fundamental rights, ensuring that even non-resident citizens are treated with fairness and equality under the law. In doing so, It reinforces the message that India's commitment to justice does not end at its borders. It reaches all those who continue to carry the country in their hearts. As we reflect on what binds us together across states, professions, and continents, it becomes clear that our strength lies in the values we carry and the institutions that uphold them. Whether through community associations abroad or constitutional guardians at home, the Indian identity remains resilience because it is both lived and protected. It thrives in our languages, our festivals, and also in our collective commitment to justice, dignity, and mutual respect. These are the ideals that shape not just who we are, but who we continue to become, no matter where we live. In this spirit, let us remain rooted, yet forward-looking, proud yet inclusive, and committed to building bridges across communities and generations. Let us continue to be ambassadors of India's rich cultural and constitutional legacy, not only preserving it for ourselves, but sharing it with the entire world. For in doing so, we honor not only our past, but also our enduring responsibility to shape a future that is united in diversity, grounded in justice, and inspired by the very best of who we are. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
I would like for everybody to give one more round of applause to the Honorable Justice Surya. Let's give him a standing ovation for that inspiring speech. Thank you so much, everybody. And I would like to invite Mr. Suresh Sharma to come and share a few words. That is our Counsel Suresh Sharma from the Consulate General of India.
Namaste, Namaskaram. Honorable Justice Surya Kant, Mamsi Reddy, community leaders, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Consulate General of India, I would like to thank all of you for hosting and this reception in honor of Justice Surya Kant. Thank you very much, all of you. It is a pleasure to be with all of you tonight and once again see our community come together. Thanks to Washington Telangana Association bringing them together. Even since I have been here in Seattle, I have witnessed firsthand the incredible way our diverse Indian communities have preserved and celebrated our heritage through music, dance, language, festivals, and day-to-day values. You have kept the spirit of India alive in every corner of this greater Seattle. But beyond just preserving culture, you have built bridges between generation, between culture, and between India and the people of Greater Seattle. You have created space where those unfamiliar with India can experience its warmth and depth, and where our next generation can stay connected to their roots while confidently growing in the global world. Perhaps most inspiring of all is how our communities here are guiding the next generation through teaching our language, dance, music, culture, and especially spiritual education. You are giving our children the most precious gift, a strong sense of identity. You are showing them that India culture is not something to be left behind, it's something to be celebrated, carried forward, and shared with pride. I also want to acknowledge the immense support that communities have shown to the consulate here in Seattle. Your partnership, outreach, and engagement have been central to helping us grow our presence and serve you better. It is through the spirit of collaboration that we are able to respond more effectively to the needs of our people and continue strengthening the US and India relationship. Thank you very much.
Actually wanted to open it up to the audiences to take a few questions in case you have any for Surya. Anyone in the audience? We'll take a few questions while time allows. We have a hand raised there.
Honorable Justice Surya, first of all, thanks from our heart for your service to the country. And we all sitting here in US, you feel very, very proud when we see the service that leaders like you are giving to the society. And I was very thrilled to hear your views about upholding the democracy and the values of democracy in the changing times. Thanks for your elaborated views on that topics. I have a question here.
Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name is Preetam Parvatkar, and I'm here working as an entrepreneur. I am building a company called INOS, which is an AI company.
Okay.
And earlier I used to run the part of America business of Tech Mahindra in the past. But the question I have, and this is actually, my son is studying political science and government, and he wanted to come here and do a question, but he has his finals tomorrow, so he requested me to post a question. So you have spoken about the judiciary's role in deepening democracy rather than usurping it. And that was what we saw in that your views. How do you see the Indian judiciary balancing judicial activism with institutional self-restraint, especially in cases that shape fundamental rights of governance?
Especially in the cases of?
Case that shapes the fundamental rights of governance.
Thank you very much for the question. It's it goes to the root and heart of the judicial system, and it's a very comprehensive question. In fact, may I take just 2-3 minutes only? I think you won't mind, all of you, if I explain just basics of the system. You know, Indian Constitution guarantees the fundamental rights to all the citizens, and there are certain fundamental rights which are guaranteed to even the non-citizens also. That's the beauty of our Constitution, which is a very progressive document, and that's why we say that our Constitution is a very live document. Now, granting the fundamental rights is one issue. Enforcement of the fundamental rights is the second very important vital issue. Now, for the enforcement, the Indian Constitution has created two constitutional courts. One is the High Courts, and another is Supreme Court, the highest court of the land. Now, as far as the High Courts are concerned, Article 226 of the Indian Constitution empowers every High Court to enforce fundamental rights, not only to enforce fundamental rights, but to exercise various kinds of, as we call it, writ jurisdiction. And that jurisdiction ensures that variety of not only the fundamental rights or human rights or civil rights, anything which is enforceable in law is guaranteed by the High Courts through their powers of Article 226. Somewhat similar power is conferred on the Indian Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. So this is a unique case of our Indian Constitution where two constitutional courts have been given parallel powers to enforce fundamental rights as well as various civil rights. But mind you, the power of the High Court in terms of enforcement of rights under 226 in a way is larger and wider than what Supreme Court enjoys under Article 32. Now, this is the constitutional framework of granting fundamental rights under Part 3 of the Constitution and then creating two constitutional courts for enforcement of those rights wherever you find that there is a violation of those rights. Now, if you will go into the history of the Indian, I would say the Indian judiciary, and particularly the Supreme Court with the landmark judgments right from, let us talk of, because otherwise it will take a lot of time, but I can only point out some of the pillar judgments of the Supreme Court. In 1973, the Supreme Court, that was the highest bench constituted judgment of 13 judges sitting together in Keswar and Bharti. The Indian Supreme Court said, Parliament has the power to amend the Constitution, but it can't amend, it can't touch the basic features of the Constitution. Now that was the only judgment in the entire world where the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, has restrained or curtailed the powers of amendment of the Constitution. Now what are those basic features? Fundamental right is one of the basic features. Right to franchise is one of the basic features. Right to the education is now one of the basic features. There will be an election commission of India to conduct a fair election is basic feature of the Constitution. Parliamentary democracy is also a basic feature of the Constitution. And most importantly, the very existence of High Courts and the Supreme Court or the judiciary is also a basic feature of the Constitution. So the Supreme Court said you can amend anything, but you can't touch the basic features of the Constitution. I think that's the only exceptional judgment in throughout the world that a court has delivered. Now, having said that, please remind Menka Gandhi's case 1978, where Supreme Court said that right to get a passport is a fundamental right. So, delivering from that, then Vishakha judgment, you know, I can name you hundreds of judgments where the Supreme Court has widened the scope of fundamental rights and given a very pragmatic and a progressive and a futuristic interpretation to those rights, holding that the Indian Constitution is not a static document, it's a living document. And therefore, you have to, with the passage of time, the growing time, whatever the societal changes are there, whatever the global changes are taking place, we need to adapt ourselves, we need to modify ourselves accordingly. And in that continuity, I would say, Puttaswamy's judgment in recent times where right to privacy has been read into an Article 21. And you know, the Article 21 which says that every citizen has a right to life and liberty. That article has been given the most expensive meaning by the Supreme Court, most widened meaning by the Supreme Court, and even right to privacy has been read into Article 21 of the Constitution. I think that power of judicial review when we exercise, there is a criticism, as the word which we use is judicial activism. I know, I'm conscious of this fact that sometimes we are criticized for that with the expression of judicial activism. But I don't think the Indian Constitution very clearly demarcate the area of jurisdiction between the legislature, between the executive and the judiciary. The principle of separation of power is very well recognized. But having recognized that, let's also underscore it that the power to test a law, whether it is as per the Constitution or not, is conferred to the judiciary. That's an act of legislature, the Parliament or any state legislation act. The power to test whether an executive action is also in accordance with law or not is again entrusted to the judiciary. Therefore, we have to have a check on both, on legislation as well as on executive. And while having that check, we are expected, that's the legitimate expectation, that's the inspiration of the Indian people, that we must try to protect their rights, try to protect them from any arbitrary action. And in that process, yes, we do pass some orders which are subject matter of, people perceive that as if we have crossed our Lakshman Rekha and have entered into the arena of the legislature or executive. It may or may not have happened, but when you perform your duties, when you are in a firefighting system, sometimes it does happen. Therefore, one should not take it very seriously.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So India is booming in its economy, correct? But it is the labor of Indians. And I'm asking, because you have the right to accept or deny so many of the acts internationally regarding economic
So
affairs.
let us now first confine to this issue. I think if I am able to understand your question, you want to say that India as a growing economy, you are bound to invite the international, across the border investments in the country.
Yes.
There are two aspects and the two facets of this part can be. One, that is the Indian judiciary capable of protecting those investments?
No, that is not my question. I am wondering, how do you ensure that India grows economically, but also that Indians are not hurt by growing this economy? How do you face that question?
Well, I think we appreciate your question. We appreciate, in fact, your sentiments. It may not be, frankly speaking, a legal question which falls in my domain. Because if I will answer, then somebody will say, I have overreached my authority. And then they will again say that it's a case of judicial activism. So I have but since a young, bright girl is having that concern, I must, as a common citizen, as a fellow citizen, I should react to what you are saying. I am not really answering, but I am reacting to it. Well, in a growing economy, when the larger investors will come, when the big investments will come, it might kind of hurt and it might adversely impact the local small scale, maybe startups, maybe those small scale industries, and maybe that vocational kind of the activities which in the rural areas or in the suburban areas which are people are undertaking for earning their livelihood. It does happen. My concern is, but I still feel that the investments must be welcomed in India. We are a country who have the biggest resource now is our human resource. That population of 140 millions is not to become a liability, it must become an asset for the country. Now how it can be an asset? That you provide them employment, you provide them good education, you provide them, you generate something for them. And unless they are diverted to the positive and constructive activities, you know what will happen in any economy. It can happen, that no country can be an exception to that. So therefore, the industrialization, investment in big industries, and correspondingly generating employment is extremely important for our young population of the country. And economy has this kind, I think the economists are sitting here, those who have better background. This is a recycling system. And the bigger industries will come, they will also generate small industries also. One industry comes, there are hundreds of other employments which are generated, which are not directly employment there, but those are indirectly. So let's not worry about it. Let's see, we create that environment of promise, environment of commitment, environment of safety, environment of return to all these who are really keen to invest in India. All of them are most welcome.
It's an honor to be in the same room where you are, Surya Kanji. And it's extra privilege for me to getting an opportunity to ask you a question. I am Anil Puvadi and I represent Seattle Kannada Sangha and I work as engineering manager at Microsoft. So my question for you is, in India, especially civil cases take years to solve. Having said that, I don't have any civil case, but people generally, they almost, it takes 20, 30 years even to get to a certain state. Is government taking any action on that? Are there any steps that are being taken? And if yes, can you please elaborate? Thank you.
It's a very pertinent and very burning question, which is normally asked whenever we travel abroad and when we are in some conferences. Fortunately for me, or incidentally, whatever, I have been traveling a lot representing the Indian judiciary from last couple of years, going to international platforms. And this is one question which is normally asked to us. You see, the pendency of cases for a long period, there are multiple reasons. Maybe that I will be very briefly touching 2, 3, 4 of them. One is look at the total population and the way the litigation has grown in India. In 1950s and 60s, I'm just giving one example. I belong to a high court where in 1956, a French architect constructed a high court, designed a high court. It was constructed by Government of India, and he at that time thought that one Chief Justice and 7 judges will be there for all times to come. And therefore he constructed a building having 8 courtrooms, 1 for Chief Justice and 7 for the judges. Now that High Court today has a strength of 85 judges. Now why it happened? Because in 1950s and 60s, people never thought that the litigation will multiply or it will accumulate or the people will rush to the courts for every smallest right. Now one is that's a very welcome step. That shows the trust and faith the Indian people have in judicial system. That's why they are coming to the courts. 2, the Indian judiciary has really played a role of an impartial, independent arbiter to decide those matters. Though therefore people are coming to our courts. 3, please see the judge population ratio in India. We are having, maybe some African countries might be worse than us, but in terms of population judge ratio, we are far behind so many countries, of course US, European countries, Singapore, Malaysia, all this if you compare, we are far less. Our filing every year is multiplying, but our judge ratio is a little less. This issue unfortunately could not be taken up at the very initial stage. From last 10-15 years, I would say, the Indian judiciary has become conscious of this fact that we need to have more judges. But then if you want to appoint more judges, you need a lot of infrastructure also. You need a courtroom, you need a place for the litigants, consumer of justice to come and sit. You need a bar room for the members of the bar, advocates, and you need the ministerial staff and all these facilities. So that comes as a financial burden on the state. So what we have been doing is that in phases, we are increasing the strength of our district judiciary. Now if you will see the facts and figure, last 10 years or so, our total strength of judicial officers in district courts has multiplied, many folds. And with that, the governments, of course, we are taking the help from the state, they are sanctioning funds, we are constructing new courts. So the judicial infrastructure is expanding, but in a phased manner. Now with the result is that with additional manpower which we have got in last couple of years, we have not allowed areas to increase. In all courts, whether it's district courts or the high courts or the Supreme Court, we have been able to arrest the areas. I am using the word we have been able to arrest the areas. And we are now targeting our old cases. With the establishment of so many expert tribunals, like now we have for corporate disputes, we have a separate tribunal, for bank recovery we have a separate tribunal, for environmental issues we have separate tribunals, and for civil ordinary commercial disputes, now throughout the country we have commercial courts. And believe me, in commercial courts, the pendency is hardly 2 years or 3 years. So that notion of taking 20 years or so, that is factually incorrect, number one. What's happening is that the matters ultimately which reaches in High Court, there unfortunately lands up, and there it is taking time, for which we are working on it. And I can assure you, very soon, at least we will be able to, very soon does not mean that in months or years, but it might take some time, but we will be able to wipe out the areas. And like now in Supreme Court, our disposal is much more than the annual cases which are filed before us. So that kind of targeted approach will have to be adopted by judiciary, for which of course we require a lot of cooperation and assistance from the state. We don't have power to sanction our own budget. For that we look toward the state and to the Union of India. And so far they have been cooperating very well, and I am quite confident that they will continue to do like that. And with the increased infrastructure, I am quite sure this issue will be adequately dealt with. Thank you.
In the interest of time, we will stop the question answer at this point. But again, I wanted to request everybody, let us extend our warmest applause to our very special guest of honor, Honorable Justice Surya ji, Suresh Sharma ji from the CJI, the Consulate General of India, Mr. Vamshi Reddy, the founder of VATA, and Mr. Sandeep Kumar Bhushanam, the president of VATA. And now I wanted to invite to the dais the corporate director of VATA, Mr. Pavan Seelam. Let's please give him a warm round of applause.
Hello everyone, good evening. I will just take 2 minutes to end this session and thank you all. On behalf of VATA, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for making this today's event truly special. To our esteemed keynote speaker, Justice Surya ji, sharing this one room with you is an honor to all of us, and thank you for sharing an inspiring speech and reflections that deeply resonated with all of us. And a sincere thank you to Suresh ji for making this happen, and thank you to all the community leaders, tech pioneers, organizational heads, and who joined us today to make this presence added immense value and meaningful to this gathering. Thank you to all our volunteers, board members, EC members on behind the scenes, the management, photography, Adi, and the one who is serving the food, Mommy's Kitchen, and the crew, Maria and Danny, and the hard work, the event seamlessly and memorable. Yeah. And a final thank you to Sonia and all our energy, putting all the energy and engagement and the continued support from all the community leaders. Let's carry forward the spirit of unity, service and inspiration. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.